Are you discouraged because this manifestation stuff that seems to work so well for everybody that tries it is not working for you? I have been changing my life through the power of changing my thoughts over the last year, and I have changed so much and learned so much. But until I got a hold of the three things we're going to talk about today, I was held up, I was blocked, and this is setting me free, and it can set you free too. That's what we're going to talk about today. So first of all, I want you to understand how I came to understand these three keys that are going to break the barriers that you've set up for yourself to the life of your dreams. Over about the last year, I have been reprogramming my brain, retraining my thoughts, and I have changed so much in my life. So many new doors of opportunity have opened for me. So many things that I have dreamed of all my life are finally beginning to come true. But there's still been these blockages. There's still been these holdbacks to me really experiencing the life I truly ultimately want to manifest. And maybe you feel the same way. Maybe you're trying to manifest a dream life or a dream job or a dream relationship or whatever it is for you. And it seems like when you get on YouTube and social media, this stuff is working for everybody but you. I want to tell you about these three keys that I recently discovered that literally are changing the game for me. And then today, I'm going to give you an exercise using these three keys that's going to change it all in your life. I guarantee you this will work, and it's going to help you take it to the next level as you manifest your dream life. So what are we talking about here? First of all, we all have barriers in our life, things that hold us back from living the life that we truly want to live. We all have barriers that have to be broken if we're going to go through to the next level, if we're going to start to travel that road that leads us down the journey that's going to take us to our dream life. We got to break these barriers, and we're going to get right into them. The first thing that is stopping you on the journey to your manifestation, on the journey to the life of your dreams, is roadblocks. We all have them. You have roadblocks in your life, just like I have roadblocks in my life. What is blocking your path? Here's the truth. You probably don't even know that you have this roadblock or those things that are keeping you back from the life of your dreams. You probably aren't even aware of most of them. And that's when we need to pump the brakes and slow down and think about what it is that's truly blocking us. Have you ever had anybody come into your home and notice something in your living room or notice something in your bathroom and come out and say, "Oh, wow, I love your pumpkin spice candle." And you say, "Which candle?" And they have to show it to you because it sits there and it's never lit, or it's something that hangs on the wall that's been there so long, you don't notice it anymore. We all have pumpkin spice candles in our lives. We all have these things that sit with us down in our subconscious that we've programmed in there years and years ago that we don't even notice that are there. You have roadblocks in your life. And if you sit down and you begin to think about some of the roadblocks that are there, they will start to pop up and you'll start to realize what's holding you back on that journey to the life of your dreams. Here's what I would recommend to do first of all. First and foremost, I would write down a list of my roadblocks. Take a sheet of paper and do this. Divide it in three sections. Draw lines down the middle of the page and make a section here, a section here, and a section here. And on this left section, I want you to write in this word at the top, roadblocks. And we're going to start looking at the roadblocks that are in your life. Now, it could be a host of things. Think of this as broad stroke, big category for the things in your life that maybe you're not even aware of yet, but they're holding you back. And I want you to give this one some real thought. By the way, this is a great time to subscribe below if you haven't already. Tell me in the comments, what is it that you want to overcome in your life? You don't have to share your deep beliefs, but what is something you're dealing with trying to overcome? Or maybe tell me, what is the dream life you have for yourself? What is it you want to become? What is it you want to be? But subscribe below because I share all kinds of content like this all the time that will help you on your journey to manifestation. All right, let's get back to it. For me, it was things like I feel unworthy to live the life of my dreams. That was one of my big ones. And a lot of that's tied to background, to baggage that I've had in my life over the years, growing up in a very religious environment where I was taught over and over and over that we're all sinners, none of us are worthy, none of us measure up. And that was one of my big categories that I had to start dealing with in my life, and I'm still dealing with in my life and becoming aware of it. The biggest thing is you become aware of your roadblocks. Now, they're going to be different for you. I had about 3 big roadblocks that I recognized in my own life that I started having to deal with. But one of the biggest was I don't feel worthy. Now, I don't know what it is for you. Maybe your dad or your mom, your person that raised you growing up, told you all the time, you never do anything right. What's wrong with you? Why do you act the way you act? I don't know what it is for you. Whatever's going on in your reality, your world, those things get programmed down into your subconscious, and they become a part of your reality of what you think that you really are. And our roadblocks are the big kind of stellar moments in our life that get programmed in, and they hold us back from the life of our dreams. So get this sheet of paper, divide it in 3 places, write roadblocks here, and start to make a list of your big roadblocks in your life. Now, kind of the second part of this is once you get those roadblocks down, you're going to start to see that you've adopted some beliefs over your lifetime. And that's what the second thing is repeated beliefs. Repeated beliefs that you've told yourself over and over. Now, some of these beliefs were programmed into you by other people, by those people, like for me, the religious world, the church programmed a lot of those into me over time. Maybe it's your parents. Maybe you didn't grow up in the greatest situation. Maybe it's happened later in life. Your significant other has told you you are nothing, or you are worthless, or you never do anything right. And these beliefs have come into your subconscious, and you've programmed them deep down there, whether intentionally or unintentionally. And we have these repeated beliefs that are related to our roadblocks. Here's a great example. For me, feeling unworthy, I have begun to tell myself over my life, because I felt unworthy and I felt like I didn't measure up and I wasn't good enough. I've had some repeated beliefs. One of mine was, Jim, you're dumb. And I do another video where I talk about this in depth and how that came to be from a pre-algebra class all the way back in junior highs when I first started to feel dumb. And I've told myself, Jim, you are dumb. And I've told myself, because I feel unworthy over and over, you shouldn't have the life that you want. You shouldn't be able to experience the things you want to have, go the places you want to go, do the things you want to do. And I have created this belief system around that I don't deserve that. God would not want me to have that. Why would God bless me with that good of a life when others are struggling? And all of these beliefs have gotten in there. Now, your beliefs column is going to break down individual segments of the kind of the big broad stroke categories of your blocks column. Whatever your roadblocks are, there's a bunch of beliefs tied to those. And start to write down all the beliefs you have surrounding each of those roadblocks. And as you get them out into the open, do you know what you're going to see? You're going to see, due to these beliefs being in your life, you have created this cycle for yourself to where you constantly are going around and around and around, thinking the same thoughts, going in the same direction, having the same beliefs, and it's keeping you stuck in this pattern you're living in your life. Because of your roadblocks, the big things in your life that you've set up as obstacles or others have set up for you, your beliefs have started to reinforce that, and these beliefs are keeping you in that endless cycle of not being able to change. And you can break out of this, but you got to understand, what are the big roadblocks? What are the repeated beliefs that I have? And now in this third column at the top, here's what I want you to write. Reality. What is the reality in your life? Now, the truth is, most of the blocks and almost all of the beliefs that you've been telling yourself that are incorrect are wrong. They are lies. They're not even true. They've been forced upon you by others. They have been reinforced by you through your beliefs throughout your lifetime, and most of them are not reality. What I want you to do in this next column is for each one of these beliefs out beside it, write the reality that you want to have in your life and that you truly believe deep down is what is really real for you. For example, I told you about the unworthiness was a big one for me, and that God would never let me have something as good as the life I want to have, that I don't deserve that because I've made mistakes and I've failed, and all this crazy stuff. A couple of the things I wrote over my reality column about that is, number one, if you're like a spiritual person, even in that environment I grew up in, and kind of every single word of the Bible is literal and it means this and this is how it works. There's even a verse in there that says God's exceedingly able to do abundantly above all you can think or imagine. And I literally wrote that in there, that God wants better for me than I want for myself. Your source, whatever you believe there, wants a better life for you than you even want for yourself, than you can even dream up or think for yourself. And I wrote, that is the truth of the situation. Source wants more for me. God wants more for me than I even want for myself. And I've been believing these lies that God doesn't want me to have it. I wrote in there, when it comes to unworthiness, that I have failed so many times. I feel like a failure sometimes in my life because I feel like I don't have what it takes. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. And then as I've been reading, one of the things I've noticed, most great people are people who failed repeatedly big time. People like Henry Ford had so many failed businesses before he figured out the Model T and the production line and he changed the auto industry. He failed and failed and failed, but he failed forward. And I literally wrote in my list, most people who are successful fail until they don't. And I have to understand that in my mind. The reality is, I have had a lot of failures that's led me to the real reality, to the truth that's changing it all for me in my life. And when you get a hold of your reality and you begin to build this third list, what's really true, you're going to start to change your entire life. Now, I told you I'd give you an exercise. Writing it down is just the first step in the exercise. Here's the exercise on how you really start to break the barriers and change it all in your life. Once you have your 3 things written down, give them some real thought. Go through and really try to list out your beliefs. This is my page right here. This shows all the things that I was limited by, all of my blocks, all of my beliefs, and my actual reality that I'm beginning to reprogram my mind with. Take some time and really get this written down. But when you have your list, do this. Once you've dealt with kind of, here's what's held me back, put that in the background, and I want you to focus on the right side of the list, on the reality that you want and the reality that truly is in your life, to escape the lies. Turn on some meditation music. You can find some on YouTube. That's where I found some for what I did, but I turned it on, and for the first few times you do it, you're going to have to kind of open your eyes and read your list and do all that. But start programming into your mind the new reality. Forget about the old beliefs and the blockades and all that. The list helps you work all that out. But start going down the new reality that you believe about yourself, that you know to be true. And as you meditate, go through and begin to tell yourself mentally, these things are true. This is what is real. Jim, you are worthy. Jim, you do deserve this. You've helped a lot of people through your life. You've had 30 years of coaching people and helping people in all kinds of different areas around the country and the world. Jim, you deserve for good things to happen to you, and you deserve to be able to have a platform big enough to help others down the road and help change this planet. You're doing good things. Tell yourself those things. Go through those mentally, meditate on them, think about them as you play some meditative music. Don't use stuff with words and all, just use some music or sounds of nature, whatever in the background that'll help you to kind of tune out and tune in. As you go through that meditative list and you list those things that is the new reality you want, it'll start to reprogram your subconscious. When you finish the meditation, when you open your eyes and you turn off the music, I want you to take your list, go down the third side, the new reality, and I want you to read those things out loud. Read them out loud to yourself and say, whatever yours are. Jim, you are worthy. Jim, you are a good person. Jim, you are talented. Jim, you have failed, but you have failed forward, and now you have figured this thing out and you are on track with your destiny. Say those things to yourself and watch your reality start to change. As you start to practice this every day, you start to go through your list a few minutes in the morning, put on some meditation music, get it out there. If you say it out loud, you will reprogram your brain in a hyper fast loop, and you're going to change it all for yourself.